This is how you find out how out of shape you are. You gotta break everything up. I'm gonna mix a little of that organic Miracle-Gro organic in. Mix in with it. See how it works. Alright, so we got the cinder block landscape fabric. I'm gonna roll it over my mound. Put another block. Maybe put dirt on the edges. Try to keep it from blowing up. This is a bit windy area because we're on top of a mountain in a field. So this particular stuff apparently tears really easy. It is a couple years old though. Now these, I bought these at Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply is a little hit or miss sometimes. It's got this little tie where you can pull it and unzips, but feeding cows and everything, I've never was able to do that good. The knife works just as good. All right, see, they already got our little spuds popping up. These ones they're a purple, so we'll see how good they are. I'm just gonna pick. I know you can. It's like a fucking spider, but you know, as long as it doesn't bite me, we'll be good. So I know you can cut them like in half and all that, but just for test purposes, I'm not gonna do that. I'm also gonna plant them a little close too, because most likely some of them are, you know, not gonna live. All plants won't live. To find time to do anything. YouTube don't pay me enough to do it full time, or at all actually. But whew, that's a big one right there. So these ones here, you can, well, the eyes are, you can cut them, so you can get, there's 3 sets of eyes. So maybe if you cut on an angle and an angle, or just keep these 2 big eyes, you can get 2 out of this one. Let's try it out. There we go. See, now 1 potato is 2 potato plants. But there we go. We'll get some water, we'll water them. I got a bunch left. I'm just gonna water them pretty good. I see the fabric is a bit repellent, but I see it soaking down in. So, all right, we'll probably work on the tomatoes next. Tomatoes? Yeah, tomatoes. All right, here's a few of the tomato plants, which they was growing up on the windowsill, so they were leaning up against the window. But they're, you know, they gotta get propped up. I thought about it for a minute. I'm not gonna put the fence up yet. What I'm gonna do is it's called a private hedge, it's a freaking weed down here. But I wanna get some of them, just little sticks. I'm gonna cut them, put them in the ground next to them, let them grow up till they get to a decent size, you know, 2-3 foot off the ground. We'll put a T-post at each end. We'll run a string across the top and then a couple down to them and a string across the bottom to keep the string. Or we can just, you know, cut bigger private hedges. They're taller, you know, they grow. You can't even poison them. You poison them, they die for a little bit and they come back. So we'll cut some of them sticks. We'll put next to them. And we'll do the same thing with landscape fabric, but what I'll probably do is I'll cut it in half, just a wider strip. And here's a few of the watermelons. There's just 3 right there that popped up. The other ones are inside. I just don't want to bring everything out and then I have to take it back in case I have to go do something. So just do a little at a time. I'm just gonna move on down. We'll just make this whole area my experiment area, and we'll get we'll get a few of them planted. We'll put the sticks in the ground, move on down, we'll get some more. All right, all I'm doing is I'm going in a straight line. I made this thing. It was a pickaxe. It had like that wide end on it, which every time you use that wide end, you hit the ground, it throws all dirt in your face. So I took a grinder, just cut that off, and just made me one of these for busting stuff up. I'm just, about 4 or 5 inches wide and just making a line. It's got to break the soil up a little bit so the roots can get in. Then I'm just going to run a little strip of landscape fabric, 5-6 inches wide, just keep the weeds out of it. And then learned this from like an English channel. And here's that, you just take a stick and we'll just stick it in the ground right next to one of these plants. You can just stick it on in here. Then we can prop the plant up on there. They have little V branches and stuff. And we get them propped up on there. And then they'll be able to, because look, they're just, laying on the ground and stuff. I would be able to tell you what these are, but when I seeded them in the seed tray, I had them labeled. But they started sprouting real fast, so I started putting them in all different containers. And then I forgot what was what. So one is a black cherry tomato, and the other one is, what's it called? Big Boy or Danny Boy, the hybrid Danny Boy. So the cherry tomato one should be like a bush. So hopefully when they get bigger, they'll be a little stouter. But we'll cut a bunch of these sticks for each one until they get sprouted up enough, and then we'll change our tactics a little bit. Like I said, we'll use like I'm thinking of string. I was thinking of fence, but I don't know. I think a piece of string across 2 T-posts tight, and then you can tie string to it and run it down. And even one across the bottom where you can just make a grid for each one. And we're going to space them about 8 to 12 inches apart. They need good airflow at the base. And then look up how to prune them, because you prune certain branches off, because they'll just start making a million branches and not tomatoes. There'll be certain branches at certain intersections that you'll trim, which I'll have to look that up too, because it's been years. So just getting back into it, so we'll see how that goes. And cat litter containers, they make all kinds of cool things, which it looks like I watered them too much. I see a tiny bit of mold there, but we're getting them out here in the nice air. So let me hold this line. Hopefully I make some money on it. Anyway, let me get this line cut, and then we'll roll the fabric and start putting the tomatoes in. And I'll have to go cut some more sticks. All right. I decided to go all the way up to that other cinder block. So I roll my fabric out. I can use that cinder block and then put another one here instead of having a million blocks. Well, I got some sticks for propping them up. I took the landscape fabric, I cut about halfway what I need, and then rolled it up and then cut it in half. Just trying to cut it long ways, it just tears. So if you just roll it up, just roll it up in a roll and then snip it right through the whole thing. Then it'll be a lot easier, because this stuff's kind of fragile. Just all kind of containers and everything work pretty good. I make a little hole, maybe poke another hole, and we can put my stick. Hopefully get it in the ground. If you get some green sticks, probably better. Some of these are fragile. Now this is complicated here. I'm just gonna dump them out, but I kind of have a heavy touch with stuff, and I don't want to bust them up. I'm going to put some of their soil down in there with it too, so maybe they don't have such a big shock. Got the little root ball. Get them down in there. See if we can lean them up on here. There we go. They got, little V's and twists and turns on them, so they should be able to, you should be able to prop them up on there. You probably don't want to tie them with anything, because then if you don't pay close enough attention, they'll grow and they'll just cut them in half. Now we got the next guy right here. So we'll go about 8 inches apart or so. Let me get some more of this up around there. Now, so you don't want the soil too loose. All your nutrients and stuff can drain down through it. You don't want it too tight where the roots can't grow. And we'll go about 6-8 inches. We'll get some more of that down in there. This is Miracle Grow potting soil too, so I picked some up at Tractor Supply cheaper. My local gas station though, they're just expensive on it. You gotta kind of shop around, but it also doesn't pay to drive around to shop around, because then the money you would have saved you spent in gas. So you gotta think about that too. It's just a million things to think about. I'll open a little hole for this guy. And some of these, they're not gonna survive. Now you just gotta understand that part. Make sure you don't put the dirt too high up on it either. Once they go high enough, you want to trim the leaves off the bottom, probably 8 inches or so up. This one, he's having a hard time hanging on. Make sure I ain't too high up with the... That's how we'll do it. So I got my little sticks. I got the plants leaned up on it. They should start sprouting up pretty quick now they're out of them pots and outside. So I'll get the rest of this line planted and I'll show you what I got. And continuing with the experiment, as soon as I run out of this little bit of landscape fabric, I'm gonna transition over to just planting in my little ditch. Just putting some of the, as I've been doing, just putting some of the topsoil in there and planting them, spacing them, and see how they do. Because I'm kind of wondering if that landscape fabric's gonna, like, I don't know how to, like, reflect heat or overheat them. Because here it gets really hot in the summer. So, oh, it's already pretty hot. That was hot last month, some days. So, and then we had freezing and hot. So that's what I'm gonna try. So change of plans, and that's pretty much homesteading and whatnot. You're gonna do something, and you end up doing something else, and you change it and you change it, and then you find out what works. So don't get discouraged. Everything works out eventually. All right, we got, what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 8 planted, so there's a long ways to go. But the way I'm doing it, see if I can get you in here and show you. Now come out a little bit, and cut a nice little hole. Take your fingers, just kind of waller out the hole a little bit. Pretty good. Quiet. I got extra potting soil from the plants, so I've been just dumping it down, getting it down in there just to give them a little more nutrients. It also has the, and a key to sprouting your plants too is strain your potting soil. Go to the hardware store, get hardware cloth, which is technically not cloth, it's like a screen or grid metal, and make you a little box, like a little square box with that stuff stapled to it. Dump your potting soil in there, shake it around, and it'll strain all the sticks and little rocks and crap out. And it greatly helps your seeds grow up. Because if the seed happens to be underneath a rock or a stick, they're probably not gonna come up. All right. I was trying to find the best plants, but you never know. So get them out. You got your hole a little wallered out again for your roots. Get them down in there. Kind of pack it around just a little bit, not super tight, just enough. We're about to put some water in this trough because you can see it's hot and they're starting to go down a little bit. I want to get them a little drink of water because, you know, 35 more plants down the line, they'll probably burn out. Luckily, it's not 500 degrees out yet. We'll get a little mist going. Try not to shoot the plants, really. It's gonna water. There's a bit of a trench, so the water should go down in it. We got our sticks to help prop it up. You'll have to train them. You'll have to come out every so often and kind of put them on there, and they'll start getting around it. And everybody's got sticks laying around. You could drive down the road and probably find some on the side of the road if you had to. No sense buying. You try not to buy stuff because you want to try to grow it for cheaper than you can buy food, really. And more plentiful. So the less you can spend on it, the more profitable it is for you, the better, you know. That's just my take on it. The less it's just a hobby for you, then, you know, whatever you want to do. But I'm continue my trench on down, trying to keep it sort of straight when I put my T-post in. So this will be the end of part 1. If you guys like it, let me know. And you want to see more. Watermelon, corn, pumpkins, and what your recommendation is. That one just fell over. Oh, we're getting a breeze. They're starting to perk. Oh, there goes it. Oh, there they go. Breeze keeps switching around, but they're gonna get stronger. They're getting water. They're getting full sun. You know, before they were getting, I don't know. Let's see, back over there is a bit of shade. So a couple, like 2-3 hours. So now they'll be sprouting up quick, hopefully. So. You guys stay safe. Don't sweat the big things. Get out there, plant, and take care of your homestead. You let it go, it'll get too far. So let me know who you want to see next. Like and subscribe, guys. Apparently we have to say that all the time. And I'll catch you later.